welcome to Random Thoughts Thursday. My name's Maddie Kempf and I'm a barrel racer. Welcome to my channel. So something I get asked about quite often is horse insurance, and I thought I should maybe just do a quick video about horse insurance. And I'm not an expert on this, but I will, maybe be able to share with you my experience as a consumer who does insure her horses. Okay, so horse insurance is not cheap. So how I decide if I'm gonna insure a horse or not, there's a few things that I kind of take into consideration. So I don't insure my babies because I generally tend to not insure a horse that's worth less than $10,000. I mean, the insurance is not cheap, so that's kind of my thought, is it's just not really worth my while to do it for those ones. So anything valued higher than $10,000, I'll usually insure. I will also insure if I haven't paid for the horse yet. So let me tell you a little experience that I had that was really awful. I had Grinch's brother. Well, I think he passed away probably 8 years ago or so, and when I had him, I lost him in a freak accident. So he and I had him insured. However, I didn't realize that my insurance had lapsed. So about a week before he passed away, my insurance expired. When I went to call the insurance company and tell them I'd lost my horse, I learned that my insurance was no longer in place. So really unfortunate, because I still had not paid him off, so I was making payments on a horse that I no longer had and had no insurance money to cover anything. So that experience made me go, okay, like I am going to for sure insure horses that I've not paid for yet, because there's no worse feeling than having to make payments for a horse that you don't even have anymore. Okay, so there's a few different options when it comes to insurance too. So there is mortality, which covers if something happens to the horse and they have to be put down, or if they die of natural causes. And then there's a major medical insurance, and there's two options that my insurance agency offers. So they offer up to $5,000 and then another option up to $10,000. So I do the mortality as well as the major medical, and I'll tell you why. It's that there's a $500 deductible on any vet costs, but it covers any major surgeries or things like that. So say if you have a horse that has a really bad injury and needs, or if they colic and they need surgery, that surgery will be covered. The other thing is that you can only collect on mortality after putting a horse down if you have done everything possible to keep the horse alive. So say you have the option of doing, your vet recommends, oh, we can do the surgery to save your horse, and you say, well, I can't afford the surgery, and you put the horse down. If you do that, you're not able to collect on the mortality. So my thought was, okay, I'm going to pay for the little bit extra to have that major medical coverage. That way, if I run into a situation like that, I can do whatever needs to be done for my horse and try to keep them alive, basically. The other thing that was appealing to me about major medical is that when Grinchy was injured a few years ago, I didn't have any insurance on her. So there was a lot of other options. My vet said, oh, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this to try and speed up her recovery or ensure that it will for sure be a successful recovery. However, I was a student at the time and really didn't have any money, so I kind of had to opt for the cheap route and basically just do time off for her. There's nothing wrong with that. However, if I did have her insured, I look back and thought it would have been nice if I could have done the extra treatments to try and speed up her recovery process. So that was another appeal for me to do that major medical. So one more option that not many places have in Canada is loss of use, and I can understand why they don't offer this option. So loss of use is really tricky, because if you were to say, have a horse that's injured that can't, maybe you own a barrel horse and, they have some career-ending injury, they can still be a trail horse, but they can't be a barrel horse anymore, you can take a percentage payout on that horse. However, proving that that horse can't be a barrel horse anymore is a hard thing. So that is a tricky thing, not offered by many Canadian companies. However, a lot of US companies offer it. So when you're trying to decide what company to use, I actually have two of my horses insured, and they're both actually insured through different insurance agencies. So if you're in Canada, Capri Insurance has their own Equine program. So I use Capri Insurance for one of my horses, and they offer major medical and mortality. And then I also insure another horse with a company called Equine Underwriters, and the reason I did that one for the other horse is that they do offer a small loss of use package, so I opted to do that just because I felt like I wanted to have that as well. I have also insured horses through American companies. Why I opted not to do that this time, a few reasons. Our exchange is kind of crappy right now, so anything American ends up being very expensive in Canada. And the other thing is that I was made aware of, and this is not something I've ever had to experience, but it was that because I am out of the country and I'm actually Canadian, that I'm not covered by some of the kind of protections and things that will be offered to an American if you were, say, caught in kind of a battle with an insurance agency in the US. So that was something that I thought, oh, okay, if I had to collect, I would rather it be an easier process and not have to go through more difficulties, being that I'm not a citizen in that country. So I opted to use Canadian companies this time around. All right, so again, I'm not an expert on this topic, but that's just me sharing my experience as a horse owner and someone that insures a couple of my horses. So I hope maybe that gives you some idea of, what horse insurance is and why we use it. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them for you. And thank you for watching Random Thoughts Thursdays. If you're liking my videos, please subscribe to my channel.